Hal, I'm so happy to have you in the studio here. Just first of all, I want to thank you on video publicly here because you changed my life.
Thank you.
Just like I know you've changed millions of others. Like literally you're doing that right now.
Thank you.
The Miracle Morning was huge, and I've told the story before. We had Hal on the podcast a while back. We'll have all the links and stuff down below. But I remember you sent me the Miracle Morning, and you wrote a little note, and I was like, Miracle Morning? Who's this Hal guy? Wake up early? No way. So I just put that on the bookshelf, and it wasn't until 2 or 3 years later I picked it back up and I read it, and I wish I'd read it sooner. And you just have this incredible story. Now you have a new book coming out, The Miracle Equation.
Yeah.
Before we get into this book, but like, I'm just curious, Miracle Morning, Miracle Equation, what would you say is a miracle? How do you define that?
Yeah, I think that's important because I think that miracles have kind of a bad rap. You know, they're usually, whether it's viewing it as a religious context where you're praying and waiting, that's the strategy of pray and wait and hope that a miracle happens for you. Or miracles are viewed as these passive random acts like you hear on the news, like this guy fell 14,000 feet in a skydiving accident and he lived, like it was a miracle.
Right.
You're like, how does that help me? That's interesting, but how does it help me? So for me, I prefer to define miracles in a way that are really not woo-woo, but very tangible, very practical, very actionable, so you have a degree of control over, like you can create the miracle. Mm-hmm. So here's my definition, is a miracle is any outcome that is beyond the realm of what you believe is probable for you. And that word probable is really intentional. I mean, that's part of the subtitle, but not anything that's possible, because if you're part of the optimist club, which most of us are,
yeah.
If you follow Pat, you're an optimist, I'd imagine. We've all heard anything is possible, but we don't pursue that which is possible. We pursue that which is probable. Like, when was the last time somebody, you set a goal, like, I'm going to give everything I have to this goal that I don't really think is likely to happen.
Yeah.
I doubt it'll happen, but I'm going to go for it. And so the idea is, well, now how do you move your biggest goals from possible, which doesn't do anything, they're all possible, to probable, to inevitable? And that's what the Miracle Morning is. It's 2 decisions that will move your goals along that spectrum. And it really isn't, it's not that they're complicated, because I don't feel like we need more information. We need methods for implementation, right? It's not that you don't know what to do. It's all the information is on Smart Passive Income Podcast and Google, and right? It's like, okay, but I need a method so I can actually get myself to do the things that will move me where I want to go, where I've been thinking about and not making any progress on for far too long.
So where did this come from? Where did this idea for the Miracle Equation come from? And we'll talk about what these 2 decisions are in just a minute, but I'm sure it'll come up in this story.
Yeah, what's interesting is, I said this to you when we were driving over here, is that it's the, anyone that follows my career at Miracle Morning would be like, oh, Miracle Equation, like it's some follow-up or spin to Miracle Morning. The truth is that Miracle Equation is a concept I came up with 6 years before the Miracle Morning was even a thought or an idea. I did not come up with it as a book idea. This was 19 years ago. I was in sales. I sold Cutco kitchen knives, and I was one of the top sales reps, and I was trying to break a company record. I was trying to sell more in 14 days than anyone in the 50-year history of the company. So that would feel like a miracle, because no one had ever done it before.
Why did you want to do that?
I was just always challenging myself to try to grow and get better and do things that had never been done before. I broke a record early on, and it kind of planted a seed like, oh wow, when you really work hard and you break a record, you're growing. And honestly, at 19, I really liked the recognition. Right? Like,
yeah.
I liked that I'm on stage breaking another record. That was cool back then. So. So I basically, I thought I had 14 days to sell $20,000 of kitchen knives, which again, it's all-time record. And I went to and I had spent weeks trying to get in my head the courage, like, how am I going to do this? It's like, it's almost impossible. How am I going to do this, right? I can do it. I was trying to pump myself up. And I go to our sales meeting, our team meeting, like 2 days before the contest starts, and our manager says, hey, everybody, remember, as you're setting your goals for this, it's called a push period in our company. As you're setting your goals for the push period, remember that the conference got moved back 4 days, so you only have 10 days, you don't have 14. And it's first I'm hearing of this, and I raise my hand, I'm like, well, no. I'm like, okay, but this won't count for the record books, right? Because like we're not getting the full 14 days. He's like, no, Hal, this unfortunately counts. So I'm like, I've spent 3 weeks wrapping my head around how to do this in 14 days, losing 30% of that time frame. It went from impossible, almost impossible, to impossible. And I went home, and here's the epiphany that night. As I'm struggling with what should I do? Do I reset the goal? Do I lower the goal? There's a whole chapter in the book on this lesson, which is, I remember something my mentor taught me, Dan Cassetta, and I think he learned it from Jim Rohn. And to paraphrase, the purpose of a goal is not to hit the goal. The ultimate purpose is who you become by giving it everything you have, regardless of your results, right? The goal is a short-term win. You win, great, you spend the money, whatever. But who you become allows you to hit a bigger goal and a bigger goal and a bigger goal and create a life beyond what you can currently even imagine. And so I thought, I can buy into that. What if I gave it everything I had to sell $20,000 in 10 days, even though the probability of that is almost nil? But who could I become? You know, if I just push through the fear and the insecurity and the doubt and the challenges and the setbacks. And, you know, to keep a long story short, you could read the whole story in the book, but in miraculous fashion, the last hour of the last day, after having the worst 9 days you could imagine, or at least the worst 7 days, and then they started to get a little better, I beat it by $17. And it felt like a miracle. And I called it my miracle equation. And then I was curious as if it would work if it was duplicable. And so I was coaching 12 of my colleagues at that time, and I taught every single one of them the miracle equation, the same way that I had just applied it, and it was a 100% success rate. Every single person went and surpassed their previous best, what they'd ever done before. And my validity in the formula, I was like, wait, it's not just a coincidence. And then I started to study, wait, if you studied the world's most successful people in any walk of life, these are the same two decisions that virtually every single one of them made, and they're totally counterintuitive, these two decisions, to human nature, which is why 99%, give or take, of our society doesn't make these, or at least doesn't maintain them.
So what are the two things?
Oh, you want me to go to that? Yes. So two decisions, and these are, Pat will say, they're deceptively simple in their explanation, but equally rare in their execution.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I said, is these are not complicated, and they're not meant to be complicated. It's not that we need to learn, you know, a bunch of new strategies or stuff. It's like, if you want to get in good shape, you probably know I need to kind of eat better and limit my calories and work. But it's like, well, I haven't figured out a method to implement what I already know, right? And so the first decision is to develop unwavering faith. And this is very Think and Grow Rich, right? It's been 100 years. And here's what I'll say on that is, what it takes to create extraordinary results today, an extraordinary life, extraordinary levels of success, it's the same qualities and characteristics that it took 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's not that you need a new app or a new software or a new book. Well, you could get the book, but all right, but we don't need. It's the same qualities and characteristics. And so I think that what I did with Miracle Morning, not to get off topic, but I think this is important to understand. With Miracle Morning, I talked about waking up early. No, you're the best example. You're like, the start of our interview the first time, you're like, Hal, I'm not a morning person and I have no desire to be one, and like, you know, but give it a shot, right? And I'm like, how am I going to convince Pat Flynn to wake up early? But by the end, you realize, oh, maybe if I implement these strategies, actually, it would be easy. And that for me is taking a concept that is maybe considered, you know, vague, like unwavering faith. How do you actually embody that every day? Yeah. Extraordinary effort, that sounds a little bit extraordinary. I'd rather keep it easy, right? So making it so that extraordinary effort feels ordinary, and unwavering faith becomes part of your default way of viewing every opportunity you ever approach. And I would say, like, imagine if you literally approached every goal and dream in your life with unwavering faith that you could accomplish it. And then imagine if you had figured out a really simple process, a method for putting forth extraordinary effort every single day that would virtually guarantee that it's only a matter of time that those dreams and goals become a reality, right? That's what it is. It's not knowing, it's, oh, this is actually how I do it in a way that's so simple that I can hand this book to my third grader and be like, sweetheart, you want to achieve extraordinary results in school or life? Like, this is how you do it. It's so easy when you read this book. So first decision is unwavering faith. And I'll just quickly say there are two parts to that. Establishing it's the easy part. It's not normal to establish it. You think about unwavering faith, it's saying that, wait, when I check my rear view and look at my entire life, I've never done what I want to do. I've never become a millionaire. I've never ran a marathon. I've never lost 30. I've never in my life. So when I check the rear view, I have no evidence that I can even do this. There's nothing that shows me that I can do it. Now maybe you can look at, well, wait, but that guy's done it. So, okay, I know it's possible, right? So establishing unwavering faith, establishing faith is the easy part of the equation. And they call that uninformed optimism, right? You're like, I can do anything. But here's the problem. Maintaining that is radically different. It's like, oh, I didn't know that there was going to be obstacles and there challenges and it wasn't going to look the way I thought. Never mind. I'm going to go back to the way things were. I'm going to show up to work, get a paycheck, pay my bills. I know that that is safe, right? So establishing and then maintaining faith so that it becomes unwavering is the first decision. The second decision is is maintaining extraordinary effort. And extraordinary effort at first blush sounds overwhelming. Like, oh man, yeah, so work hard, I get it. I got a Gary Vaynerchuk at 80-hour work days, I get it. Not at all. What makes extraordinary effort extraordinary, if I had to sum it up in one word, is consistency. If you simply schedule 1 hour a day toward your biggest goal and dream, and in the book, there's a chapter called Your Mission. And it's the idea that setting goals is cute. We all set a bunch of goals. We often know we're not going to hit them before we even set them, but the goal setting exercise gives us a feeling of like, well, this is what's possible, right? And then the year ends and you're like, didn't hit any of my goals, or maybe kind of hit one. I'm going to set new goals. And it's just this fun activity that we do that we don't actually implement, and we don't actually see the goals.
Every year.
Every year. And so the idea is that you have to identify your mission, which is, okay, I've got 8 goals in all these areas of my life, right? Of all these goals, what's the one goal? And this is very in alignment with the book, The One Thing, right? Which we're big fans of. What's the one goal that will have the biggest, most significant, most meaningful impact, not only on my life, like in terms of my tangible results, but on me as a human being, that if I give it everything I have and apply the miracle equation to achieve that goal, whether or not I even achieve it, I will become a version of myself that I don't even know. Like, you're a runner. I hate running. So I committed to run a 52-mile ultramarathon. And people go, well, if you're not a runner, why did you do that? And it was literally because I didn't know the guy that could do that. Like, I had never met him, and I wanted to become him, right? And I knew by committing to that goal, even if I only ran 30 miles that day, even if I didn't finish, whatever, by giving it everything I had until the end, I would become the version of myself that could accomplish anything I want in my life. And that's what the miracle equation is it's not a one-time decision to hit a get-rich-quick goal. It's, no, this is going to change the fundamental way that I approach every challenge I have. It's how I beat cancer. It's how I learned to walk again when I was told I never would. And it's how I sold 1 million copies of the Miracle Morning. You know what I mean? So whether it's overcoming seemingly insurmountable adversity, or it's achieving results beyond what you believe is probable for you, aka miracles, right? That's what this is about.
You make it sound easy, right? It's just the two things.
Simple but not easy.
Simple but not easy.
Yeah.
What happens when you make this commitment to have unwavering faith and you put forth extraordinary effort, but you're met with those roadblocks, and then those demons in our head start to come up and try to stop us, or we start to get frustrated and angry? Do you have any ways of dealing with those kinds of things that are inevitable?
Yes. And that's part of the whole, how do you make this practical, actionable, so simple?
Yeah.
And so when it comes to unwavering faith, when I set that goal to sell $20,000 in 10 days, and I asked myself this, in my own words, the question you just asked me. Okay, what are the obstacles that will prevent me from making this a reality? Now, this goal is so big, it feels like a miracle. So if I were to make it, it were to happen, what could throw me off? And I thought, well, I had been in sales for long enough, and it's just like sales is a microcosm for life, right? You have an expectation, you're hoping this will work out a certain way, and it often does not. And so I knew that there'd be days where I would go to an appointment that I was scheduled with, like, this lady was like, oh my gosh, this is like my richest friend, and she like loves to cook, like she'll probably buy everything. And I'd be like, and I knew from experience that sometimes you go to that and then they don't show up. And they're not even there, and they forgot, and you lose the appointment. Or they decide they buy nothing because they do whatever, right? And I'm like, so I know there's going to be many points along the journey, and this is true for all of us, where I have self-doubt and fear. And what I realize is what happens usually when we have self-doubt and fear, it goes back to the adage of what we focus on expands. So that seed of self-doubt is planted by a result that doesn't meet our expectation, that isn't in alignment with where we're going. And then when that seed is planted, we focus on it, and the focus becomes water, right? And you go, oh my gosh, what if I have this happen again? What if my next appointment doesn't buy? What if I don't hit what if? And then now that is your new reality. And you have a reality based on fear. And so for me, I decided, okay, I have to replace my fear, actively, consciously, and simply replace my fear with faith. And all I did was I wrote down a little note. Now I would call it your miracle mantra, if you will, right? Little mantra that said, I am committed to giving it everything I have to sell $20,000 in 10 days, no matter what. There is no other option. That's it. And every time I had and I literally kept it in my pocket for the whole 2-week or 10-day period. And every time I had a no sale, a missed appointment, every time the fear or the doubt crept in, I pulled out my note and I said, and I remember I would be driving, I had it memorized pretty quickly, and I would be driving down the freeway in my Nissan Xterra, and I'd roll down the windows, and after like a no sale or a rude customer that would like kick me out of their house and be like, we don't want any. And I'd go, I am committed to selling or to giving it everything I have to sell $20,000 in 10 days, no matter what. There is no other option. I am committed to give it everything I have. I would say it with such conviction and such, passion, if you will. And it's not rocket science. In that moment, I was replacing fear with faith. And either you're directed by your fear in your life, that's my mission with this book, is I think the majority of us, whether it's unconscious or conscious, we live our life based on the fear of what we can't do, the fear of what we're not capable of, the fear of what might go wrong, the fear of uncertainty, right? We live with all these fears. And if we can switch that to live with faith, your whole quality of life changes.
How do you have faith when, and I know from my own experience, I put faith into the education system. I put faith into my career and the security of that, yet I was still let go.
Yeah.
And many people go through even tougher things in life. I mean, you had a terrible accident and you were pronounced dead for 6 minutes, and you came back and you were told you were never going to walk again, and here you are, obviously. And then very recently you had been diagnosed with cancer and got through that as well. How are you able to keep unwavering faith through really tough moments of life like that?
Here's a way to think about it. You're a Michael Jordan fan, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Michael Jordan fan. Who's your favorite basketball player of all time? New or whatever?
Kobe.
Kobe, okay. Well, so we use Kobe,
Okay.
right? So I'm a Kobe fan too. So Kobe Bryant, and I believe this is, so in the book, I identify what people that live the miracle equation, whether they call it, of course they don't call it that, right? But they're what I call miracle mavens. And a maven it's from the Yiddish word mavin, if I'm saying that right, and it means one who understands. So a miracle maven is one who understands this process to create miracles. I love using like a world-class, world champion athlete as a perfect example of someone that lives by this. At some point in Kobe's career, he made a decision. It might have been when he was 8. It might have been when he was 18. It might have been because of a mentor. It might have been because of his dad, or we don't know where it came from, and he's probably revealed it in an interview. But at some point, the world's greatest at anything made a decision, unconsciously or consciously, whatever language they use, that they would maintain unwavering faith, that they could do anything and everything they wanted. They could anything they set their mind to, anything they committed to earn, right? Not a miracle that you passively wait for and hope for, but anything they were willing to go after and actually create. Now, Kobe Bryant, when he gets the ball, see, most people, right, there's all that element of fear of I might miss the shot. I believe that at some point Kobe made a decision that he can make every shot he takes and win every game he plays in, even though, Pat, let me ask you, has any basketball player, including Kobe, ever made every shot they took?
No.
No, they miss about half. So it's not like it's even a good percentage. They're literally missing as much as they're making. But here's the thing. It doesn't change that when the ball hits their hands, they have unwavering faith that they're going to make that shot. And if you're listening to this, making the shot is a metaphor for any goal you're working towards in your life. And when most players miss a shot, or most human beings miss a metaphorical shot in their life, does their faith go up or does it go down?
It goes down.
It goes down, right? So the average basketball player, the ball hits their hands and they miss it and they go, uh-oh, hope I'm not off today. If they get the ball again and they miss it 2 times in a row, the faith quickly doubles, maybe quadruples, right? Maybe it's an off day. They may or may not even shoot one more time. Likely the next time it hits their hands, they go, fear. Here, you shoot. Kobe Bryant, he can miss every single shot for the first 3 quarters of the game, and his faith has not wavered. When the 4th quarter starts, he says, give me the ball. And if he misses that one, when the majority of our society who live in fear, their faith wavers and they're like, hey, give me it again. And you see Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, you see them all, right? Where they keep shooting and they keep shooting and here's the thing. Every time you take a shot, think about, like I talked about in the book, the real purpose of a goal isn't to hit the goal, it's who you become. So Kobe knows he can't make every shot he takes, but he still lives with unwavering faith that he will make every shot he takes. And so when I had cancer and I was given a 30% chance of surviving, which, I'm a dad. I mean, you can relate. Like I had a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time, who's 9 and 6 now, and leaving them without a dad is the most horrific thought there's nothing that's worse in my life that I can imagine. So of course that was a real fear that I have a 70% chance of dying, but I know, like Kobe, if I'm going to be the best in the world at beating cancer, I've got to have unwavering faith that I'm going to beat cancer, even though There's no guarantee, but I know that I'm going to increase the likelihood through the power of unwavering faith. So I had an affirmation, like the one I recited with the sales goal. I am committed to giving it everything I have to beat cancer and live to be 100 plus years old with Ursula and the kids. No matter what, there is no other option. And every time I had the seed of fear, and I got, oh my God, but what if, that lasted for maybe 30 seconds. Because I immediately grabbed my phone, and eventually I memorized it within probably a week, and I said, I am committed to doing everything in my power to beat cancer and live to be 100 years old with my family, right? No matter what, there's another option. And that is how you maintain unwavering faith. It's not sexy, it's not fancy, it's literally you replace the thought of fear or self-doubt with the thought of faith. That's it.
And a lot of that fear and self-doubt comes as a result of external factors, things you can't control. You didn't ask for cancer. It wasn't your fault that you got in that accident.
Let me speak on, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you said something earlier like you had faith and then you lost your job. Like, well, what about that, right? What was the other thing you gave, the other example?
I don't know.
All right. So anyway, so you had right. So you're wondering, well, you have faith in something that doesn't work out. So in the book, I talk about like, okay, well, where do you generate your faith from, right? And it can be from God. I mean, it can be from whatever your spirituality or religious beliefs are. However, the way that I really talk about it is this is faith in your ability. Like it's faith in what you can control. It's faith in whatever comes your way, you will overcome it no matter what. When the day I was diagnosed with cancer. And for most people, this might be a little bit like, well, what? But I called my wife, hardest phone call I ever made, because I had already accepted it, right? You were listening to my podcast, Becoming Emotionally Invincible. I accept everything I can't change. Like, if I can't change it, I don't feel scared, I don't feel sad about it. I feel naturally human, there's fear, but for the most part, it's like I accept it. But I know my wife doesn't, no matter how many times I've taught her the can't change it stuff that I teach, she's still, I go, I'm about to call her and tell her that the doctors are saying I'm probably gonna die in the next few months. It's a hard phone call to make. I know how she's going to process that, and that's going to be really hard. Mm-hmm. And I called her, and she broke down crying, and I broke down crying. And I'm trying to break down crying right now. And I said, sweetheart, I know you probably will scoff at this when I first say it to you, but I believe this with all my heart, and I hope you will. I said, this will be the best thing that ever happened to me. I said, this will be by far the most difficult thing that we've ever. My friend Chip taught me today, do math equations, it switches your brain. 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times, okay. All right, it's amazing how it actually.
Another miracle equation.
It actually, it actually works though. So you do a math equation, it like flips your brain and you catch your, okay. So I said, this will be the best thing that ever happened to me. I said, and therefore to us. And I said, I know that's hard, but I said, look, sweetheart, my car accident, being told I would never walk again, the most painful thing I've ever been through, was the best thing that ever happened to me because it gave birth to my life's work. I wouldn't be helping people today if it wasn't for that car accident. And I said, and I don't know all the answers. I don't know why this is happening. I do know that the bigger the adversity, the bigger the opportunity for growth, and then therefore the bigger the opportunity for impact, both individually and for the greater good, whoever we choose to share that with, our family, our friends, or whatever, our employees, or the world. And so, the day I was diagnosed with cancer, given a 30% chance of living, through the lens of unwavering faith, which I've been living for 19 years, so I didn't have to read the book. I had, it's like it becomes part of you, right? Michael Jordan doesn't have to go, with the neck, or Kobe Bryant doesn't have to go, when I get the ball the next time, should I have faith in that shot? No, it's who he is. He's a miracle maven, and that's what this book is like. You become a miracle maven. It's not that you just have a quick strategy to use, So that's through that lens of unwavering faith, I chose to see cancer from day one as the best thing that ever happened to me.
How?
Because with what I just said, hindsight is part of it. Well, so here's the thing. You say hindsight's 20/20.
But when all that stuff's happening, how could you not think about the worst things that could happen and all the bad things and the pain emotionally and physically that you're going to be going through at that point?
So in the podcast I just did that you were listening to, Becoming Emotionally Invincible, right? It's the idea of acceptance. It's the idea that, okay, I cannot change that I have cancer. In fact, I'll just give a quick bonus lesson, right? And there is actually a chapter in the book, because it's the most recent podcast, Becoming Emotionally Invincible, but it's the lesson that I teach when I speak. No matter what my speech is, I always embed this lesson, because it's been one of the most life-changing for me. And here's the place to start with this for anybody listening or watching. what if I were to tell you that every negative emotion that you've ever felt in your life, that you're feeling right now, or that you could ever feel in the future, is self-created and completely optional? In other words, it has almost nothing to do with what's happening to you. So what was happening to me was cancer. Whether or not I felt negative emotion was up to me 100, it was self-created. And it's self-created, like you can sum it up in one word, it's by our resistance. In other words, our resistance to our reality, to the unchangeable aspects of our reality, is what determines our emotional pain. And it's to the degree of resistance that we put into it that determines the degree of pain we feel. So if you're in traffic and you have mild, low-level resistance, like, oh, I'm gonna be late, oh man, come on. Or it might be more intense, like, no, not today, I can't be late today, right? To the degree that you resist determines the degree of pain. Now, I used to do that, like anybody else, I hated traffic. Now when I get in traffic, I go, I can't change that I'm in traffic. I'm gonna be late, that sucks. My client's not gonna be happy about this, but I can't change it. So I can spend the next 30 minutes in traffic frustrated, stressed, and upset, which, I don't know about you, but that's not my quality of life I would choose, and that I don't think that serves me or the outcomes I have for today. Or I can accept it, be completely at peace with it, and enjoy every moment in this traffic, driving 12 miles an hour for the next 30 minutes. And that metaphor, that example I just gave, is relevant whether it's traffic or it's being diagnosed with cancer. And I'll give you one quick story that's not my own. I was speaking at an event once. A woman who was 27 years old sent me an email a few weeks later. And attached to the email was a picture of her wrist with the words, "Can't change it," permanently tattooed. When I give my speech, I teach the can't change it philosophy, which is that when something, the 5-minute rule, when something goes wrong, set your timer for 5 minutes, give yourself that buffer to be upset. You give 5 minutes to bitch, moan, complain, cry, punch your friend, whatever, like, ah! Then when the timer goes off, you say 3 very powerful words that heighten your consciousness, your awareness. You go, can't change it. That reminds you, I can't change it, so there's no value in resisting it and wishing I could. That just creates emotional pain for myself, which is totally unnecessary and optional, and I don't need it. So it's going to serve me, right, or serve anybody. And so I taught that in my speech, and she emailed me a week later with this picture of her wrist tattooed, "Can't change it," and I'll paraphrase her email. She said, "Hal, I saw you speak a week ago, or a few weeks ago, and you taught your 5-minute rule, your can't change it philosophy." She said, "Well, my dad killed himself 10 years ago. And for the last 10 years, I have been deeply depressed. I have been, I've been in and out of every therapist, counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist. I have been on every single depression medication on the market. Nothing has ever worked. Until the day I saw your speech, I woke up depressed that morning that my dad wasn't here. And anytime I shared that with anybody, they patted me on the back and said, 'You poor thing, like I would be just as depressed. You deserve to feel horrible every day of your life,' right? I mean, they reinforced it. And she said, when I heard your message and the talk about what causes our pain, that it's self-created, that it's not the thing that happened, it's our resistance to the thing, you opened my eyes to this possibility I never considered, that maybe I'm not depressed and sad and scared and lonely and angry because my dad died, but maybe it's because no one ever told me that I had a choice, that I could accept it. I didn't know that." She said, "I got your little can't change it wristband," which I used to give to students after my speech. "I've worn it for the last few weeks. I'm not depressed anymore. I've been depressed for 10 years, and in a matter of days, I realized that I was causing it, and it wasn't my dad's death." And she goes, "I replaced the memory or the meaning of his memory with gratitude. And now when I think of my dad not being, just period, I smile. And I wanted a permanent reminder, so this isn't a henna tattoo. I went and got it permanently tattooed into my wrist. Can't change it." And so that's how. And the thing is, it's anything. It's like practice. When someone first hears it, we're addicted to our emotions, their patterns. When we hit traffic, the way we've responded to traffic for the last, since we've been driving, it's embedded. It instantly comes up and we feel those emotions. So I always tell people, anything you're doing, if it's worth doing, do a 30-day challenge, have a can't change it, write it on your wrist, put a rubber band, whatever, right? Do that 5-minute rule, put that in your pocket, like the miracle equation, mantra. And then when you're feeling upset, you set your timer for 5 minutes, and at first you go, 5 minutes isn't long enough. I need like 5 hours to be pissed off, come on. But what happens is after a few days of doing it, I would set the timer for 5 minutes, and at first I'd go, oh, I'd be upset, 5-minute timer goes off, I go, I'm still feeling the emotions I always feel, right? But after a few days, I would set the timer for 5 minutes, and I would go, son of a, and I'd pick up the phone again after I bitched and moaned for a minute, and I'd go, I still have 4 minutes and 17 seconds left. And I would set it down and I would go, what's the point of being upset for another 4 minutes and 17 seconds when I can just turn the timer off, accept it, and go do something proactive to move forward in my life? And it was like, this, again, it's a shift in our consciousness.
Yeah. It all happens here.
Yeah,
It all happens here.
It starts there.
And this helps add some structure to the decisions that you're going to make and the goals that you want to reach. Absolutely. So where can people go get the Miracle Equation?
So it's my first ever traditionally published. I have 13 books
Dude,
out.
congrats, man.
Thank you, brother. They are all this is traditionally published, which means not just Amazon, but wherever books are sold. Right now, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it Audible, Kindle, Walmart.com, Target.com, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores everywhere. And can I mention the bonuses?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I like to just share this in total transparency. I was telling you, I hired a book launch manager, Tim Grawl, who's amazing, and he basically just said, he goes, Hal, here's the thing. Everybody's got more books that they can read. They got more books in their shopping cart. They got more books on their wish list. He said, so I'm advising you to create well over $1,000 in legitimate, brand new, don't dust stuff off the shelf, brand new, relevant to the book bonuses that will help people actually implement what they learn versus just finish the book and read another one and move on. Mm-hmm. So if you get the book today and you forward your receipt to the email address miracleequation@gmail.com, 2 E's in the middle, miracleequation@gmail, you will get a 6-week online how to create tangible, measurable miracles course with me. It starts the week after the book comes out, so April 24th. You will get a guided meditation from me, and then a 2-page implementation guide. And if you're watching this like 6 months from now and you missed the pre-order bonuses, the launch bonuses, when you forward your email address, we're still figuring that out, but you're going to get a bunch of cool bonuses. So we're going to say they won't be as cool. You won't get the live course, obviously, but there's going to be some bonuses for sure for anybody that forwards that email.
Cool. The URL one more time?
Go to buy the book, miracleequationbook.com will take you to the retailer in your country, anywhere in the world, and then if you forward your receipt to miracleequation@gmail.com. Yeah.
Cool. Go grab it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Brother, I'm gonna hug you.
Love you.
Love you too, man.